cars are lined up on the grid. The iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. We are underway. They all come down into turn one for the first time.
Welcome everybody to the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series here live from Virginia International Raceway for round 7 of the series warm-up. Currently underway, qualifying concluding a few minutes ago. We'll go through those standings in a few moments time from today as we have 5 minutes remaining in this session. The race will kick off shortly. 58 laps to challenge the drivers across what is a very, very challenging circuit here. The full course layout, 5.3 kilometers, 3.3 miles with 17 turns. Lots of undulation around this circuit, and we remain in the east of the United States of America from Watkins Glen last time around. We stay here, only an 8.5 hours drive from Watkins Glen. We know in the simulation racing world, only a couple of clicks away, not much difference for all these drivers today. PSR TV in collaboration with RaceBot TV for today's event here at round 7. As we mentioned, Johnny Simon in the commentary booth with Chuck Johnson, Ian on cameras as well. Chuck, we speak about turn 1 at this circuit. We know the horseshoe, very, very entertaining, no room for error. We will most certainly see a few drivers colliding in the early laps.
That's right, Johnny. This first turn here is pretty classic. You can expect a lot of possibility of contact. We've seen it before. A lot of the top drivers have had issues with that turn. There's a nice little bump in it that if you don't get the gas and the gearing correctly, you can easily find yourself in trouble. And of course, none of them want to have their whole race shot in that first turn, so you can expect the guys to be aggressive but also cautious as they're heading in. And I look for this to be, past turn 1, each time they come around, you can watch for issues. But these guys are pretty used to this track by now, and we can expect a great race today, I'm sure.
Sure we can. 4 minutes remaining until we get the race going. Hashtag iRacing WCS. Join the conversation for today's event. The very, very challenging Virginia International Raceway we talked about. That Oak Tree corner. A couple of years ago we saw some drivers in 2013. So many cars going off the track. We even saw a couple going off at the exact same time. No room for error. Now we'll finally look at the qualifying results for you for today's event. Gregor Hutu takes another pole position, and that will certainly help him on his championship charge, beating Martin Kroenke by 0.003 of a second. Does not get closer than that. Actually, it does, and that's 0.001 of a second. Martin Kroenke falling short of that. Very, very close between those two in cars number 1 and 2 as well. Mitchell de Jong returns for round 7. He's currently on the second row. He's in 3rd position. Alongside him, Zali Pakala in 4th. Sebastian Job, what a qualifying performance from the young gun. 5th place for Apex Racing UK, just pipping out 2011 world champion Hugo Luis in 6th. The rest of the top 10, Enzo Benito, Rocco Baroni, Isaac Price and Jeremy Bootloop. Big names outside the top 10. We speak about this, Chuck. Alexei Usiakala down there in 17th, leading the championship after the first 2 races, taking 2 wins out of 2. Qualifying performance is key, especially at Virginia International Raceway. Now he's going to have to rely on strategy and fuel loads and hope that that helps him on a pursuit towards maybe a top 10 result, even top 5. It's going to be very hard to get a realistic result for him.
Oh yeah, that's true, Johnny. Especially when you have drivers like Gregor that are, amazing with their pit strategies and the pace that they set up. Anyone outside the top 10 will have a large challenge today trying to out-strategize the top drivers up here because they are the best at both the strategy and the lap time. So Yes, Alexei has definitely got a lot of work to do. Of course, he has that top spot in the standings, and he's going to have some catching up to keep protecting that.
Look at the standings as well for the event today is Gregor Hutu, 254 points in the lead, 34 ahead of Martin Kroenke in the Coanda Sim Sport car there in second. Hugo Luis in third, more than a race behind, 66 points. No matter what he does today, a win or not, he will not lead the championship. So it's between those two, breaking away from the rest of the pack. Jussi Akela in fourth. We look down the order as well. Mitchell de Jong in 10th, only competed in half the events. That's a strong effort from the American right there, doing the US some joy. Can he do it today in his home country? We'll have to wait and see. Only a minute left until the race. Consistency key, especially around this circuit. Lots of chances for drivers to overtake, maybe not, we'll see. It's very, very tight, very hard for drivers to make overtaking moves stick around here. Maybe some opportunities into Oak Tree, maybe on the back straight into Roller Coaster. Turn 1 as well, a big opportunity. Some drivers currently in warm-up really trying to fight and slice and dice. It's only meant to be a warm-up session. There's just no room for error here. No matter what session you're in, you really have to try and push to the limit. Practice as hard as you can as well. The weather for the event at the moment, we look overcast. Not best. 69 degrees. That's Fahrenheit, obviously. It says 21 for me, overcast. I'm in Celsius. But plenty of winds as well. Southwest, 10 kilometers an hour currently at the moment. So it's not the sunniest of days, Chuck, as we approach the race. It'll be very difficult for drivers to maybe visibility could be a problem. Or maybe I'm just clutching at straws, trying to make things harder for these drivers at the moment.
Yeah, John, as we prepare to go to grid here, that's true. Typical Virginia weather. And I like that the weather system now for iRacing definitely adds a different edge to these races. And the wind especially, there are times when it may move your car around, and with these cars being so twitchy as they are, that can lead to trouble. And we are now going to grid, Johnny, getting ready to go green.
We are certainly indeed. No formation lap as usual, 58 laps of intense racing today. One error, that could be your race done here at this lovely, lovely circuit in the east coast of the USA. It's been 2 weeks since the last round. All the drivers very, very nervous as they get onto the grid, going through their last minute fuel load strategies, focusing as well, making sure the mindset is clear for the beginning of this event. Gregor Hutu on pole position, alongside him his championship rival Martin Kroenke, as the lights will illuminate any moment now, and we go green for the start of round 7. Good start from Gregor Hutu, breaks away from Martin Kroenke. Mitchell de Jong settled in for third position. Oli Pakala has to defend from Sebastian Job into turn 1. Very tight between those two. Hutu still leads though from the rest of the pack. I think Hugo Luis as well, still in 6th position. So he's slowly making his way to the field. Actually, no, that's Hugo Luis in 5th. So Hugo got up 1 position already in the early stages of the race. No real big contact in the back. Some drivers still dicing. One driver off the track, I think that's Riku Alatalo, straight off. Doesn't hit the wall. No big damage for him. So Riku continues. He goes to the back of the field. He'll catch up shortly. Only lost a few seconds. Hutu, though, goes through the early stages of the lap, and he's approaching Oak Tree at the moment. Good start from him. Great pursuit for 4 wins out of 4. Can he do that today? The middle part of the first lap, very close between Mitchell de Jong. He's slowly reeling in his teammate Martin Kroenke in the early stages of the lap, but very calm, very clean there, Chuck, in the early stages of lap 1. We were expecting more battles, more contact, but these drivers obviously very, very skilled at the moment.
Oh yeah, that's amazing. You know, the perfect start. And we did have a bit of an off with Patrick Boltzmann through turn 3, but he was able to regain the track and he's continuing. But yeah, what a fantastic start already. And so far we are clean through every turn for the most part. As the field works down into the front stretch for lap 1, yep, things are looking great.
So Riku Alatalo there off, not good for him at the moment. Mitchell de Jong had a moment out of the roller coaster, so he's lucky to keep it together. He's pushing to the limit So he's trying to catch up to those two. He took the win there in round 3 at Sebring. He wants to take his second win of the season. Lap 2 of 58 for the moment. Gregor Hutu leads 0.7 of a second away from Martin Kroenke. Behind him, his teammate half a second behind is Mitchell de Jong. Ollie Pakula in 4th. From Hugo Luis 5th, Enzo Benito, Sebastian Job dropping 2 positions at the start to 7th, so I got him mixed up with Hugo Luis there by accident. Then Isaac Price in 8th, rounding out the top 10, it's Bootloop and Friskops. Down the back of the field though, Alexei Usiakla, so he started in 17th, he gets caught up in first lap trouble so much, doesn't help him at all, so his championship and his race so far going to pieces in the early stages, as well as Patrick Holtzman. We mentioned, or at least Chuck mentioned earlier, having issues in the early stages of the race. So Hutu still leads as they come towards Roller Coaster, exiting towards the end of this second lap. So strategy will come into play shortly. We'll see which drivers are on maybe a 2-stop. Maybe someone wants to put a different strategy in the mix, mixing up through the field. But you can see already Mitchell de Jong dropping a second behind Martin Kroenke. This is important though, Chuck. We know Mitchell could be on a different strategy, maybe one less pit stop than those top 2. Maybe he does indeed have the pace of those 2 strong drivers of Hutu and Kroenke, but we'll have to wait and see in those pit stop phases. He could be heavier fueled than them. And that will be very, very interesting to see how much of the gap is that those top 2 break away from Mitchell de Jong.
Yeah, the fuel strategy here plays off greatly. The way this track, you have to keep momentum up. The heavier weight will definitely slow you down, but it depends on your strategy exactly how you end up at the finish. We just had Enzo Benito get around Hugo Luis in turn 1, so he has moved up to what will be 5th place at the line. So Enzo Benito is definitely trying to move forward, and so far he is. He's actually stretched a good distance on Hugo Luis immediately. Halfway through the lap, he's at least 10 car lengths ahead and is now getting on Ollie Pakala heading into the roller coaster.
At Monza, Enzo Benito was the one who went on that one extra pit stop strategy, and now it's just not good for him at the moment because it didn't pay off at Monza. At the moment, he's making his way through the field, so actually I take back what I said. It could help him indeed. We have Sebastian Job having a look around the outside of Hugo Luis into turn 1. Now Sebastian Job, can he outbreak the 2011 champion? Oh, he gets the line right, but Hugo has the traction, almost losing the car, and Job has to back off. So Hugo Luis maintains 6th. For now, though, we'll look at the replays of the start with no other position changes through this part of the lap. I want to see where Sebastian Job lost his position. Hugo Luis, the amount of traction he got off the line, that's what we talk about. Drivers practicing those starts. And Chuck, it's so important right there. Hugo Luis passing Sebastian straight away. Now, I mean, yes, Hugo's on the back foot in the early stages here. He could be heavier fueled. But at the moment, he's holding Sebastian up. He's had the better start. And this could play dividends for his race here by the end.
Yeah, as we said, they're classic for outbreaking areas here, and these guys are definitely trying to take advantage of everything they can get as early as possible. It looks now like coming up to work toward lap 5 here, that the field is starting to get a little bit of solidity among themselves. They're spreading out a little bit. In the back of the field, we're getting a few passes, but they're usually pretty quick into 1 or the oak tree.
So, lap 5 of 58 at the moment. And Job still trying to fight behind Hugo Luis in that Apex Racing UK car. He's got a long road ahead of him. He had to get that pass done before at turn 1. So important for him. Now he's stuck behind that number 6 car of Hugo. So we'll see how much pressure he puts on him, the young gun here, Sebastian Job. He's a very promising prospect in the World Championship Grand Prix Series. Plenty of development ahead of him. And yep, the Apex Racing UK team have a good talent with them at the moment. He's 0.8 of a second behind Hugo at the moment. Mitchell de Jong has dropped away from the top 2. It's 1.9 seconds. So he's slowly being dropped by those that duo of Hutu and Kroenke. At the moment, the 2 strongest drivers of this series. So good job from them. The closest battle at the moment is Jeremy Bootloop, the number 24 car in 9th position. He's right onto the back of Isaac Price, but just too far behind, actually. Cannot get a move done. As we come towards the end of this lap here, I think Bootloop might have a shot at Isaac Price for P8. Oh, we have a driver off the track. I think that is Robin Friscops. Oh, Sebastian Job, yes. So, Chuck, oh, jeez. We just spoke about Sebastian Job being a very exciting prospect. Now he's falling through the field, and oh, dear me. So his race now is pretty much over. He's laying there as well. There's certainly an issue for him in the closing. I think it was the final corner of the lap, wasn't it there? So Sebastian Job straight off the track, Chuck. I think he just carried, he carried way too much apex speed into the final corners and went straight off into the track, damaging the car, and his race is now over.
Yeah, he caught that inside curbing there. I guess that's around Hog Pen or NASCAR, and that is a classic spot to ruin your race. I know for a fact that it's cost me many a position. It's just, it just draws you in. If you can catch that curb just right, it'll settle you in. But the percentage of times you don't catch it just right, you head to the tires, just like Sebastian did. And yeah, he was, obviously setting a great pace at the start there, and now it looks like Sebastian has retired, unfortunately. So there you go, folks. This track will reach out and get you just when you think you have it together.
It certainly will indeed. We spoke about 2013 at Oak Tree Corner, where drivers were really struggling to keep it together through there. And now I watched a video before the race of about, I think it was 17 drivers in the race going off at Oak Tree Corner. Not all of them retired, but plenty of offs there. We'll certainly see that throughout the day. Job, though, doing at Hog Pen, the final corner, 17 and 17A. Unusual there, but we have seen drivers go off, catching that inside curb, as Chuck just mentioned. For the moment, though, De Jong still being dropped. A 1 minute 21.6 last time around, a 21.2 for his teammate in front of him, and a 21.0 for Gregor Hutu in the lead, who's also dropping Kroenke in second position. We speak about Gregor Hutu nailing qualifying, and that's why it's so important now, Chuck. I mean, you nail qualifying, you have the open road ahead of you, a clear track, and that's where Hutu excels. He's on his own, he gets into a rhythm, he pretty much just gets the race over and done with, takes the win. I think win 4 out of 4. I know it's early stages 7 of 58. If he keeps his pace going, I think he'll just run away with a win here. I mean, he is absolutely amazing, and already so far, lapping faster than Kroenke and De Jong, could be underfueled. But Hutu just showing that this is why he's a 4-time world champion. He is just incredibly fast.
Yeah, it's not just the speed that Gregor carries, it's the perfection that he does it with. Very annoying to most of us. You just have to sit back and be, feel astonished by everything that he does, because we rarely ever see even the slightest off from Gregor. And that makes it just, blistering fast in everything that he does. And actually, he and Martin Kroenke are both pulling away decently from third place. So while Gregor is out there ahead of Martin, Martin is actually keeping a very consistent gap. So, Martin is in a position to where he can kind of just keep pace with Gregor the best he can and not necessarily have to really push as much. And around pit stop time and afterwards, that will probably pay off to a great extent. Now, will he be able to pull ahead of Gregor at the end of those pit stops? We shall see, because as you know, Gregor is also fantastic at the pit stop situation also.
He certainly is indeed. Jeremy Bootloop now, the number 24 car, looking for 8th position on Robin Friscops. Friscops goes defensive already, side by side through the back straight on towards Roller Coaster. Still side by side here. Good racing from both these drivers, and Bootloop might have that position. He does. Incredible stuff from Jeremy Bootloop there. He's up into 8th position, steals it from Robin Friscops. 50 laps remaining in this event, and Jeremy Bootloop making his way through the field. Enzo Benito as well in 5th position, the number 9 car, right onto the back of Olli Pakala now through the early stages in Sector 1. So Benito, we know, certainly is underfueled. He's just incredibly quick at the moment. Yes, he is through traffic, but he's quite quick, as I mentioned, for someone who is struggling with dirty air. He crosses through, getting very, very close. So we'll have a look at the onboard of Marti Piatella here. Currently in the 11th position, started 12th. So a straightforward start for him at the moment. So let's have a look at actually Enzo Benito there, P5, right onto the back of Oli Pacala. Oli Pacala does not go defensive, or he does. Takes the inside line into the next corner. Benito almost losing it under braking. Incredible save from the Italian. And they both live for another day. That could have ended very, very badly there, Chuck. Side by side for them braking. And good defensive driving from Pacala. He took the outside line into 14. But into 14A and in the roller coaster he had the inside line. But nonetheless, we look at it again. Benito trying to go around the outside into turn 1. He's too far back. And Oli Pacala keeps this position for another lap most likely. Oh.
Yeah, I'm watching them head toward 3 and 4 here, and they're keeping the position they pretty much had coming out of 1. Looks like Hugo Luis is starting to creep up on both of those, so their little battle has cost him a little bit of time to him. So we'll have a 3-car battle here for, looks like 4th in the near future.
Well, indeed, Hugo Luis, so 21.777 last time around. The drivers in front 1 second slower. Obviously, they were battling and wasting time. Will it happen again? This is where Hugo needs to capitalize on it. If he is heavier fueled, if he gets in front of these drivers, it could certainly ruin their race, or at least detriment it by a couple of seconds. As Benito, he's 3/10 behind in the slipstream. He's just too far behind this time around. He will not get a pass done after the back straight, so maybe turn 1 is his best opportunity now, as Luis almost loses it on the exit, just saves, and I think he's lost a few tenths from that as well. So we've seen lots of drivers almost losing the car there in the roller coaster as they cross the hog pen. They finish another lap, 48 laps remaining this time around. Benito's too far behind to make his way past Oli Pacala, so not good for him at the moment. He really needs to make his way through the field. If he is under fuel, maybe making 1 extra pit stop, it'll be key for him to get past. As we're looking at P12, Andre Burcher in the number 7 car. He's very close to Marti Piatella in front. That could be very interesting. We spoke about Piatella's start. Andre Burcher now could indeed maybe make his way through into P11, hopefully into the top 10 for him in a strong race as they approach the Oak Tree corner coming up in a few moments time. Oh, Burcher almost runs off the track. Oh, he does run off the track, almost losing the car, keeps it together. That was before Oak Tree, so indeed through South Bend, and very, very close. We spoke about those curbs, Chuck, around this venue. In these open wheel cars, these iRacing World Championship Grand Prix cars in the Williams, it's not going to be easy jumping over curbs and bouncing around, you know, in an open wheel car. It is not going to help drivers in a pursuit towards maybe a top 10 result, especially for Andre Burcher.
Yeah, that's for sure. These cars, you know, they feel highly wound anyway.
So yeah, so hearing a bit of news there. Enzo Benito still crossing. Oh, he just cannot get a move done. Cannot get a move done. But it's interesting to note, as fast as these guys are lapping now, they're only a few tenths behind the leaders. So they're 10 seconds behind Hutu in the lead. They're lapping about 3 tenths slower a lap, even though they're both pushing to the limit. So I think maybe it could be better off if they help each other here and sort of lap fast together, because you know, if they battle and waste time, I mean, ooh, that'll be something to watch out for in the latter stages of the race. Benito, though, with 47 laps remaining, still trying to make his way through into 4th. He's had a decent campaign for him. He's obviously won a World Championship Grand Prix race himself, at least last year, taking his one and only win in the World Championship. At the moment on the front straight, tucking into the slipstream of Oli Pacala, and he's still way too far behind, and he is hopefully not getting frustrated, because You got to keep it together. Racing's all about obviously keeping composure, certainly around this track. Yeah, unfortunate. So unfortunate for Martin Piatella there. So he is off the track at the final corner onto those curves we spoke about. So he's dropping down the order very, very quickly for him. So he's dropped down from 11th all the way. He's rejoined in 23rd position here, 2.5 seconds in front of Rico Alatalo, who had a first lap spin. So Martin Piatella, we spoke about this, taking those curbs. And, well, not good for his race, Chuck, at the moment. Plenty of chances, though, as we spoke about, to keep composure. And he can still get a good result out of this race.
Yes, he was able. And Sebastian Job made it all the way to the tires. Martin Patella did not. He just made it through the grass and was able to regain the track. And showing him in P23 now, but we'll have to see what he stands when he comes around and makes the lap and hits the line again. But no damage, it doesn't look like. Just a lot of time lost, and I'm sure a bit of frustration in the cockpit.
Plenty of opportunities for him to get his way back through the field. So still looking at Benito. He just can't get past Ollie Parker. I want to see battles, guys. Come on. Someone throw it up the inside into... if I remember in the Pro Series, there were certainly battles into Oak Tree. Someone maybe throws a stick in the fire and makes things very interesting here. A pass into Oak Tree will be incredible. We know in the Pro Series, though, De Jong at the moment in P3, he swept every single race except for Watkins Glen. A man named Matej Kirchhoff won that race, but Mitchell de Jong dominated at this racetrack. Can still get a good result in this race in third. 7.7 seconds behind the leader. So he's probably the wild card here. You know, is he going to have a quiet race maybe, Chuck, and just come home in that final podium position? Or, you know, maybe his strategy is different. We will have to wait and see as the pit stop phase comes up.
Yes, that's always what you kind of have to wait and see who is doing what when it comes to the pit stops. Because, you know, if you're running a certain field strategy, you're going to be attempting a certain pace. So you may not be showing all of your cards early. And, you know, you have to kind of wait and see how it all plays out. After the first pit stop, we should have a lot better picture of who may do what. As we're seeing Gregor Hutu now with a 4-second lead on Martin Conky. Obviously, Gregor Hutu has decided, hey, it's time to go. He's probably about halfway through his fuel load. And it looks like his balances came in quite well. And he's working on making his run to his first stop.
We spoke about this. Hutu normally, when he makes his first pit stop, he puts in an incredible lap. A 20.5, 0.6 of a second faster than Martin Conke in second. Half a second faster than anyone else in the field right there. This is what a world champion is all about. He's looking for 4 wins out of 4, extending that championship lead. Certainly at the moment. We speak about battles as well. Rocco Barone trying to make his way back in front of Robin Friscop. So Friscop's got past Barone last time around on the back straight heading into turn 14 and the roller coaster. This time around though, a poor exit from Barone. He's still in the slipstream. And he's trying to get past the number 19 of Friscops now. Will he stick it up the inside or outside? Friscops defends. Goes back onto the racing line there. Questionable maneuver. And that it stops Barone from getting through. Hutu, though, he does not pit. Gregor Hutu continues for another lap. His lap time last time around, a 20.6. You speak about it, Chuck. His balance coming in is really important now in the in-laps to nail, as we talked about, to nail the in-laps as fast as you can. Getting as much time ahead of your opponents. He's got a 5-second buffer now for mistakes. Heading into his pit box, if he misses the box or anything, he could still come out in the lead. So it's good stuff here from the 4-time world champion. And this is why he is a 4-time world champion. He has moments like these where, you know, it might be little things like nailing the in-lap, but it makes a huge difference come the race.
Yes, it does there, Johnny. And, you know, with Gregor, it's just amazing to watch him. And he gets away with things that most of us can't even consider getting away with. Watching he over Cronky there, you know, a half a second gained over that last lap and a half. And that's classic Gregor Hutu, especially at this track. He just seems to have such a flow and an understanding of what his car needs to do for each turn. And lap by lap, meter by meter, he just extends the lead on you, and before you know it, you're 5 seconds back and stuck in a much deeper strategy than you started with.
42 laps remaining in this event. Finally, Kroenke breaks into the 1 minute 20s, a 20.9 for Hutu, a 20.6 once again, completely blitzing the lap time charts at the moment. Nobody else into the 20. Actually, Jeremy Bootloop in P7 also setting a 20.9. He's right onto the back of Hugo Luis now, 7 tenths behind. Closest behind, or second closest behind anyone in that top 10. Rocco Barone cannot make his way back past Robin Friskops. So we're waiting for drivers to make their pit stops here, their first one of the day. Tommaso Carla very close to Jonas Nukarinen in front there, in the number 28 car. Tommaso Carla very, very close. So he's had a move up at turn 1 around the outside, could not get past Jonas. He had to settle back in for P16. So Tommaso Carla maybe trying to make his way through the field here before people make their pit stops. We speak about drivers down through the field. Alexei Usiakala still in 25th. Also trying to make his way past Tomo Meglic, but back on the battle with Tommaso Carla in P16. Trying to get past Jonas Nukarinen in the 22 car. Very, very close. Jonas tries to go defensive. Oh, look at Carla on the grass. And the car just was lifted there. Had some aero loose most likely. And he's very, very aggressive. And we talk about over-aggression there, Chuck. Almost ending his own race, Tommaso Carla, through over-aggression.
Yes, he did, and that has brought Berrezzini and Avery right up to him. So now, while he was attacking, he is soon to be under attack. And they're heading down to turn 1, and definitely has some attacking going on from Berrezzini into 1, and he's nowhere to go yet. You have Richard Avery coming right up behind Berrezzini, so we were going to have a 3 or 4 car battle here for this P, what would that be, 14?
Is indeed P14. Juho Abi as well onto the back of this train. So a 5-car train here with 41 laps remaining, headed by Jonas Nukarinen. Tommaso Carla, if he didn't, it's just, it could have been a much simpler pass than he made it. He has to try and make it. Now he's 8 tenths behind Jonas, so he's got a lot of ground to make up. I mean, he's further behind Jonas than Fulvio is behind him. So it's a long, hard work for him at the moment. We have no one on this back straight really that close. The closest, actually, Richard Avery, very, very close to Fulvio Berrezzini. He'll have to throw it up the inside here at the end of the back straight. Will he make a move, or will he stick behind and stay patient? Richard Avery stays patient. They will continue in this train for another lap around. Hutu, though, in the lead. A 20.4 last time around, the fastest lap of the race. A 5.7 second lead from Martin Kroenke. Good stuff from the Team Redline driver there, Gregor Hutu. We switch back to number 44 car. Richard Avery now around the outside of turn 1, too far behind. You'll have to stick behind in P17 for another lap. So drivers, it's very difficult to overtake here around Virginia International Raceway. We spoke about Chuck, and this is where you're going to see the drivers who really play things right, really have that extra spur and extra motivation and energy to, and maybe even confidence as well, we'll throw that word in there, to make a passing maneuver stick. It'll be key in today's race, because if you don't have those aspects and those qualities, you won't get your way through the field.
Well, that's a fact, Johnny. Most of the lap here, you're trying to just keep your position, keep your pace, not let the guy ahead of you get away, not let the guy behind you catch up much. Most of the passes are when someone makes a mistake or you just happen to get that position. And when those opportunities present themselves, you will see drivers maybe take a little more risk than they normally would. As we have Juho Abe working on Richard Avery as he takes him heading into the top of the roller coaster there. So just like that, Juho Abe was able to get a draft down that long straight and set up Richard Avery perfectly before the entry of the turn, which instead of having to wait at the entry. So a great clean pass, both drivers able to keep control and continue. That's exactly what they look to do, which that opportunity very rarely presents itself that cleanly.
You heard AB making the most of his chances at the moment. We had a driver off track there in the early parts of the lap. I'm not sure who that is, but we look at the field for the moment. So Hutu still leads away from Martin Kroenke, 5.7 seconds in front. Mitchell de Jong, 11 seconds behind the leader. Kroenke lapping Patrick Holtzman, I believe. So Holtzman once again into trouble, and not a good race for the Movano driver there. Oli Pacala in 4th, Enzo Benito 5th, Hugo Luis. Oh, Martin Kroenke spun! Talking about that in P2, Martin Kroenke's had a big moment near the end of the lap, and he's lost positions for the moment, so we'll have a look at a replay shortly for you. But Kroenke there, I'm not sure what happened. I think he just carried way too much, or he didn't carry much speed. So so Kroenke there actually, I think he might have touched the inside curb and lost the rear end. Very unusual incident. Be interesting to hear from him, but nonetheless, he drops down to 6th position. In front, it's Jeremy Bootlib trying to pass Hugo Luis. Gregor Hutu's in the pits as well. So Gregor Hutu comes out of the pits, and he's right behind Robin Friskop, so that might be a lap car. No, it is indeed Robin Friskop. So much action going on out of nowhere here with 38 laps remaining. Hutu pits from the lead, very early pit stop from him, which might explain his strong pace today. He has to make his way through the field, he has to pass cars. An 8.6 second pit stop for Gregor Hutu. And right onto the back of him is Rocco Barone, who might pass Gregor. Very aggressive, trying to scare the 4-time world champion here through the very twisty part of the lap. Maybe springing in a great pass into Oaktree. I'd love to see that. It's just too tight as the drivers head through there. Hutu, too experienced to lose concentration at this moment in time. Oh, this is incredible stuff at the moment. This will be very interesting now. We speak about Gregor being an incredible driver, keeping composure, as Barone will most certainly get through. He doesn't pass Gregor Hutu. That might suggest that Rocco is coming into the pits. So Rocco now, this will be interesting. Will he come into the pit lane? No, he doesn't. So maybe he's just keeping things together. I see another driver in the pits. That might actually be a lap car indeed. So we speak about Gregor Hutu there, Chuck. Now he's in traffic. Pace explained now. He was very fast, yes, because he's obviously dominant, he's very good, but at the same time, he's lighter fuel. He's half a second faster lap than the other drivers. Now, this is where you lose the time in traffic. This is key to his race right now. Kroenke spins, pretty much butchered any chance of getting the lead after this first pit stop fades. It's all for Mitchell de Jong, the winner of the race here in the Pro Series last time around. He could win his second World Championship Grand Prix Series race, or for the moment at least take the lead. We'll speak about wins later on, we're not even halfway through. So this is interesting now, we speak about it, Chuck. So Gregor Hutu in traffic, can he get past? We'll have to wait and see.
Oh, with just like every other element and facet of Gregor Hutu's race, he is a master at working traffic. Very, very rarely have we ever seen Gregor Hutu have issues in traffic, and usually when they are, they're catastrophic. But I expect that he will be able to work through traffic as he normally does, and by the time we get back around to if he does make another pit stop or the others make pit stops, that's when once again we'll see where he ends up, and usually he ends up on top. And we had Rico Alatello. You saw one of the cars go off before all of this pit stop drama started. Back on lap 17 heading into 1, Rico Alatello was trying to overtake Tomo Majelic for P23. They had contact, and Rico took a tumbling wild ride into the turn 1 tires and actually out of the race the way it looks right now. So that was the car you saw briefly there go off earlier when we started the pit stop situation.
So Rico Alatello's race obviously over, as well as Sebastian Job. Paolo Muyo currently in last position in 33rd. We should mention Marin Kolak, a Pro Series racer, allowed to race in this event here today for round 7. Obviously, only 35 drivers allowed through. If there are not enough World Championship drivers qualifying, Pro Series drivers are allowed to race and qualify for the event. So Marin Kolak getting some experience for himself. Good stuff from him. 36 laps remaining. But actually, let's have a look at this. Martin Kroenke, as Benzo Benito comes into the pits. Martin Kroenke in 18th position. That's cost him dearly at the moment. So Martin Kroenke. Oh no, this is not going to help his championship. As Benito's pit stop here needs to be quick. Bootloop also in the pits, Chuck, as well as Isaac Price. So a few drivers in the pit lane.
Yeah, Jake Sturgis just made it into his box. Definitely seeing the strategies playing out. Gregor obviously in earlier. Some of these guys obviously running heavier fuel and taking longer stops. And it looks to me right now that this is shaping up once again to be another classic VIR event where through the middle of the race you see a lot of traffic, you see a lot of different strategies, and of course this is coming about just as it always does.
Plenty of strategies here today for certainly for Oli Pacala and Hugo Luis in the top 2 positions, as well as Friskops and Barone. They're going long in their first stint, maybe making one less pit stop for the moment. So lap of 58 laps today, I mean, is 35 laps remaining in this event. So plenty of opportunities for some action in this event. So Jake Sturgis, an 8.7 second pit stop. So it's good stuff from him at the moment. So he's down in P18. Quick fuel for him. So we look at the pits as well. Oli Pacala in the pits. Hugo Luis. So Oli Pacala and Hugo Luis. Oli Pacala is away out of the pit lane. Hugo as well. Straightforward pit stops. Hugo an 8-second stop. Oli Pacala a 9-second stop. So 1 second longer. Maybe some fuel. Maybe a bit of a delay, we'll see. Oh. So we've had drivers going off as well. I think we've also had Mitchell de Jong might have almost made a mistake lapping cars as well. Yeah, so Mitchell de Jong was the driver who was off into turn 1. Oh, it was very close. I see why now. Him and Oli Pacala are actually battling there. So side by side, Mitchell de Jong just went wide and lost the position. So that's the news we have here. Mitchell de Jong now into 4th position. Most importantly now, behind Enzo Benito. This could really detriment his race, Chuck. Behind traffic, this is where we're going to see Mitchell de Jong shine. The Pro Series champion needs to be on a charge now. Into the slipstream of Enzo Benito. Can he shape up a move into the next corner? He's very, very close. Might stick it up the inside. No, he doesn't. Keeps it together, putting Benito under pressure. Really important now, Chuck, for Mitchell de Jong to keep his composure and make his way back into the podium positions.
Yes, that will be very important as new leader Gregor Hutu heads into turn 1. After the pit stops are over, Gregor has assumed top spot with Ali Pacala and P2, and as you mentioned, Benito and DeLong carrying 3 and 4, carrying their battle in the turn 1 still. As they head over to turn 2, it looks like that Benito has gained a couple of spaces there away from DeLong, but DeLong's coming right back on him through the S's, and we're getting ready to head down the short stretch here to heading up leading into Oak Tree. I don't know if Mitchell will have a space yet. Hopefully he will set himself up for the long straight as they head back to Roller Coaster.
Important for Mitchell to get it right here through the twisty sections of the track South Bend, and then on towards Oak Tree. Benito pushing to the limit, almost losing the car through Oak Tree, really taking as much curb as he can. Look at the time he's gained as well. So Benito really playing with fire at the moment. He needs to do that though, and if he doesn't, Mitchell de Jong will make his way in front of the team Redline driver. Redline versus Coanda once again. No new stories here. And Mitchell de Jong still too far behind. So he's really got to push now. Benito's pushing to the limit. De Jong has to do the same. We see Benito pushing up dust, really bouncing off curbs. This time though he doesn't. De Jong into the slipstream, maybe into turn 1. This is where he made that mistake and fell behind Enzo. And once again, not close enough to the gearbox of the Team Redline car. So plenty of... it's just oh so close for de Jong as Martin Piatella is in the pit lane now. So Piatella getting some fuel, some fresh tyres for him. He's out and away, 8.1 seconds. So Martin Piatella on to the racetrack in P18. Very close between him and Richard Avery now. Avery
had some contact back here with Tomala and Marin Kolek. They got together heading into the roller coaster. Both of them spun around a bit. They're both rolling. I don't see a great deal of damage.
Oh, so Mitchell de Jong, he's fallen behind Hugo Luis. So Mitchell de Jong off the racetrack. Don't tell me that's at Oak Tree. It is. So he's that's the infamous corner a couple of years ago. We saw so many drivers going off. Well, he clipped the wall as well, and he's certainly got damage on that car. So, he's in P6 now. Well, this is important now. We have to watch lap times. He's behind Martin Kroenke as well. Under pressure from Jeremy Boutloop. This could really hamper his event right now. Having that damage at the top front left of the car. Oh, we could see his lap times drop. They are certainly indeed, as Jeremy Boutloop right onto the back of Mitchell de Jong. And up the inside, Jeremy Boutloop into the top 6. Good stuff. And Mitchell de Jong, his race taking a turn for the worst here, Chuck. Clipping that tyre barrier. And he has the option of maybe making a pit stop to hopefully repair that damage.
Yeah, hopefully he fares better than Tomas, or who was that there?
Tommaso Carlo?
Yeah, I believe it was Carlo. He had the contact there at the top of Oak Tree, or the top of the roller coaster, and he brought it into the pits, and he has damage to the point of where they have retired the car. So hopefully he fares a little better than he did.
Yeah, actually that was actually Alexius Yakula. Yeah, so oh wow, Yakula's race gone. We talk about Yakula leading the championship after 2 races. We thought maybe a championship contender, now slowly dropping down. The pressure's got to him, and another poor race from the very strong team Redline driver. It has to be said, he just needs to get it right. And well, poor stuff, and I'm sure his fans will not be walking away with smiling faces after this event. Fans of certain drivers, such as Gregor Hutu, will be happy at the moment. 9.6 seconds away from Olli Pakala in second position. Kroenke had a spin, de Jong's had spins as well. Coander's just butchered their chances of grabbing that lead and that win maybe. And consistency is key, certainly after this race. We know there's still 30 laps remaining, Chuck. After this race, I'm sure the first thing on Coander's agenda should be working on consistency. At a track like this, it is key. At a track like Montreal next round, one mistake, you're into the walls, and your race is certainly over.
Yeah, there's a lot of wide open spaces here at VIR. You know, you have a fair chance at being able to get off in a lot of places without damage. But Montreal, on the other hand, there's not much room for error there at all. You can easily find yourself into the wall driving in a straight line. So, yes, a bit of consistency always pays off at that track. Very important. We have a bit of a push here for P7. Looks like Frisch Pops just took it away from DeLong heading into the top of the roller coaster. Looks like the roller coaster is definitely the area for the action today on passes. Now Rocco Barone has picked up the position as, I guess that was Mitchell DeLong that jumped into the pits lane. So he is just now hitting his box. So he dropped out of that battle, and time for him to get some tires and fuel and carry on his race.
Yeah, so Mitchell de Jong now repairing that damage most likely. So hitting the wall hitting the barriers at Oak Tree, the tyre barriers, and he's around and away into turn 1. Oh, look at the traffic here. And, does he get in front of Anton Higelin there in 23rd? Anton Higelin, we haven't spoken about him much. Very strong race at Sebring, fluctuating at the moment now. He's not in the top 10 like he was there. 23rd now, he's probably... either he's lacking in pace or he's been in a few incidents. So Higelin as well, not up to his potential, at least not 100% of his potential. But there's a huge train in front here. The difference between P14 of Fulvio Barazzini and P23 of Anton Higelin is 10 seconds. So pretty much 10 drivers separated by 10 seconds. As Higelin still trying to get past Mitchell de Jong. Battle for P22. And de Jong still certainly has damage. some extra fuel as well. We'll see how much damage has been repaired. At the moment, Anton Higelin, a straightforward candy from a baby move. And he is up into 20 seconds. So battles throughout the field here this afternoon. Good to see some overtaking. Hopefully Anton keeps it together. He does. And with 28 laps remaining, drivers still fighting for any point they can get in the race at the moment. So Hutu's brought that gap for the lead to 10 seconds now. He's broken that mark for the first time this race. We speak about him going 4 out of 4. We speak about Kroenke not scoring much points in this round, Chuck. If Hutu gets a 50-point lead after this round, we'll calculate the points after the event, of course. He's currently leading by 34 points. If he gets that 50-point buffer, he's got that event to maybe make a mistake, which he doesn't really make many anyway, but he's got that leeway anyway in case something goes wrong. We know last year at Circuit of the Americas got caught up after a poor qualifying session, getting into incidents on the first lap. If that happens at the next round, Hutu will really need to get results like this up and going because it's so important. Any point counts towards the championship.
Yeah, that's the truth. You know, as Gregor right now, as we talked earlier about the traffic, he is working through some lap traffic. He has been ever since the last pit stop. And actually, as he's working the traffic, the others are closer, second and third and fourth and fifth are working traffic. And once again, that's where another area where Gregor shines. He is able to actually extend his lead over Ollie Pakala in P2. You know, actually, what I've seen each time that Gregor catches the traffic, he's doing it at great places. And, of course, the traffic are facilitating the pass as best they can. And it's working out quite well for Gregor. He is, where is he now? Looks like 10 seconds? Surely not.
So he's the gap's brought down to 9.7. Well, actually, look at the lap times last time around. Pakala, identical. He's probably 1/100th of a second faster than Gregor. And so Gregor now, he's behind a lap car, that's why. So yeah, Gregor Hutu finally gets past. I'm actually not quite sure who that is. That is Marin Kolak, the Pro Series driver. Yes, it is indeed. So Marin Kolak getting experience is key for him, Chuck. We know he hasn't got his World Championship license yet. He did get his Pro Series license. A man I've raced against, Marin Kolak. Very strong. He's very consistent. He's got the pace as well. This is all a learning curve for him at the moment. You know, he's got to... Yes, he's being lapped. He's at the back areas of the field. But just being in the atmosphere gives you and takes away that nervousness that you might get next year if he does indeed make the World Championship.
Any laps you can get in with a group of the stature of drivers in this series, it has to help you.
So Kolak. Yeah. So Kolak, he's on the back foot here. Is there a driver? That's Paolo Muya. So Isaac Price. So Isaac Price has lost the position to Andre Bocher here with 26 laps remaining. Isaac Price through the twisty section of the racetrack approaching South Bend and Oak Tree. So, and Isaac Price off the track. He's lost his rhythm. Oh, does he spin? No, he doesn't. Gets out of the way of any drivers behind. The next driver is Tommaso Carla, 11.5. So no traffic behind him. Isaac Price losing another position, 2 in 1 lap. Andre Bocher making his way into P9. Stereos capitalizing on Price's mistake. And, well, he's got to get that rhythm as quick as he can at the moment. So it's important, actually, for Isaac Price to keep his head cool, keep the composure. Still plenty of laps to go in this event. And he's hopefully got it at the moment. So we'll see how much time he lost. Last time, 21.4, pushing faster than Bocher and Stereos. At 27.6, so he's lost 6 seconds from the rest of the guys around him. So not good stuff for Isaac Price, currently outside of P10. So let's see how the race fares for Rocco Barone as well in the number 18 car. Currently in 8th position, 7/10 behind Robin Friskops, 4/10 faster last lap around. We've also had word, actually, that Alexius Iacola's incident was due to a black screen. So, not good. Yes, he was near the back of the field, or at least in the mid-pack, but at the same time, his luck Well, the luck not going his way this afternoon for Alexei Usiakla, the Finnish driver. Maybe a few comments from him after the race. We'll see if he comes in maybe half an hour's time. Actually, yeah, about half an hour left in this race. Plenty of time to go. With 24 laps remaining as well. So Rocco Barone, we'll see how much time he's gained on Robin Friscops in P7. They're going to come across the main straight now. So Robin Friscops will come across the line. And he sets a 1 minute 21.3. Sorry, 1 minute 21.2. Barone sets a 1 minute 21.3. So this time Friscops recognizes there that Barone is putting pressure on him, ups the pace. Important for him to keep that 7th position. It'll be a strong result for Robin Friscops. As Carla as well, just trying to have a look at everyone in the field, incredibly enough, lapping in the 1 minute 20s to 1 minute 21s. This is how close the field is this season. We speak about talent here in the 2015 iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. So much talent, not just in the front of the field, Chuck, but in the mid-packs as well. And this is why it's important to get the Pro Series right, qualify, and this is what you get: close competition, racing between quality drivers. And you know, even at a track like this where it's so hard to overtake, we've still seen plenty of action here today.
Yeah, that's true, Johnny. As I was going to say there before my mic started acting up, you know, any laps you can get in with a group like this, it will be great for your driving. The last place finisher today is still lapping laps in the top group of the iRacing service. And you know, every race you see here, you see the Gregors, you see the Hutus, you see, you know, the drivers that seem flawless. The rest of the field is made up of drivers that are trying to get to that point. They're trying to get their craft better, and they're trying to learn what it takes to win these races, to finish these races, to place in the top fives. All of the laps these guys can get in, whether you're running in the top 20, top 30, will pay off dividends later on through your iRacing career. So, you know, there's a lot of talent. It takes a lot to get into this series. Once you're in this series, it can only improve you, or for some, it may just discourage you.
Yeah, so under pressure in the World Championship Grand Prix Series event, not easy for certain drivers. For some of them, the leader, Gregor Hutu, the Finnish driver, on a pursuit towards 5 championships. No one really in the same competition as him, at least in the past 3 races. We've seen drivers really challenge and try to beat him, but in terms of taking wins, Hutu's just dominated that aspect at the moment. In the championship though, Robin Friscops in P7 in this race. P7 in the championship, under pressure from Rocco Barone at the moment. Rocco as well needs a strong result. He's 20th in the championship. Had a strong result last time out in Watkins Glen. Trying to get another top 5 finish here today as well. He can get close. He's only about that's 9-10 seconds away from Kroenke, so it's optimistic. Opportunity's still there. Kroenke's still hanging around. He's around the same lap times as Hugo Luis. Hugo telling me before the broadcast that he probably hate me for saying this, but he said he thought he was a bit slower than Kroenke. At the moment though, through race pace, it seems that Luis at least is carrying the confidence. He is faster than his Coanda teammate there. They're both in 4th and 5th position respectively. So still waiting for those drivers to make maybe a second pit stop with 21 laps remaining.
I'm watching a potential battle for 7th back here with Rocco Barone in the 18. He's chasing Robin Friscops. They're working down through the roller coaster in the hog pen in NASCAR, heading toward the front stretch. Back there around Oak Tree, they got very close together. Rocco Barone closed very heavily, but currently Robin Friscops has been able to pull out through the long stretches. It looks like there's a possibility that Friscops may be using a slightly lower downforce package than Rocco Barone, because Barone definitely closes up through the twisty bits. But then he kind of gets left when Friscops gets on the straight stretch. So I'm going to watch these guys as they head back around to Oak Tree and see if Barone can close back up again. But that was almost a good pass there for P7. I'll keep an eye on that as we continue here.
Yeah, Barone really has work cut out for him here in this event. So he's lapping around identical lap times, been stuck behind Friskops for this whole stint. He's doesn't push, he pushes on the exit there, proves me wrong. I was about to say he's not really pushing too hard now. He might just be keeping it together, but nonetheless, Rocco still using as much curb as he can. Have a look at drivers down the field. So Juho Abbey still in P15, Tommaso Carla in 12th, Isaac Price there in 11th. He's trying to fight in towards the top 10. Jake Sterios holds that 10th position. Who else can we have a look at? Morgarfilio, we haven't spoken much about him. He's currently in 18th. Richard Avery there in 17th as well. So some nice battles as well coming on. Marty Piatella, though, only 2 tenths behind Juho Abbey here across the back straight. So Marty Piatella in that number 13 car. Closest battle we have on track at the moment. Just cannot get past Juho. So Marty really trying to push as fast as he can. He started in 12th, now down in 16th position. We look at other drivers who have made their way through the field. Enzo Benito in 3rd position, started 7th, as well as Jeremy Bootloop, who started 10th. He's up into 6th. And another driver making 4th positions is Robin Friskops. He started 11th, now into P7 on the racetrack. Jake Sterios in 10th, up 5 positions from 15th, as well as Andre Bocha from 14th to 9th. So drivers capitalizing on incidents. The biggest mover through the field at the moment has to be, that's Juho Abbey there, up 11th positions. He's in 15th. We spoke about under pressure from Marty Piatella. Now the battle for P15. If anybody is going to keep their cool, it'll be Juho, and Piatella pushes way too wide into Oak Tree. He butchers any chance of making his way up into P15. We'll switch back to you, Chuck. That battle between Friskops and Barone for P7 and 8 still spicing and slicing up.
Yeah, they're pretty much where we left off. Friskops had a little worse run through Oak Tree that time. Barone had a little better. And they've came back within 3 or 4 car lengths of each other, working through the twisty bits again. So, Barone is actually doing quite well, I believe. He's not being over-aggressive. He's not pushing himself into mistakes. But he is keeping a good pace. We saw a couple laps ago, he lost a little bit, pushed a little bit through Oak Tree. And now he's corrected that and closing up. He's within a car and a half length now heading into Oak Tree. So let's see what happens on this pass. Both of them work through there perfectly. Both of them get a perfect launch and pretty much keeping the status quo. Now, Barone, I don't think he's going to be, well, I don't know, he's gaining, but I don't think he's going to be quite close enough unless he gets there and just throws it in. This is perfection heading up to this turn. Fritz Pops didn't make a mistake. He held his line. He didn't go super aggressive defensive. And we have Gregor Hutu leader in the pit lane.
Yeah, he is. So Barone will focus on that battle for the moment.
Hugo Luis is on.
Hugo Luis as well in the pit lane. So Hutu out and away. Martin Kroenke in the pits. So lots of battle. Oh, is that Kroenke very long in the pits? Yes. So he's obviously still behind his teammate there. And Kroenke, who's he fed behind? I think that is Kolak, I believe. So it might be, yes, a Marin Kolak coming out of the pit lane as well as Martin Kroenke. So for the moment though, Kroenke stuck behind the lap car. That's going to impede him. Not going to be well. He gets out of the way. Oh, very uncertain. Kroenke almost runs wide. Keeps it together. He's in P11 now. Hugo Luis though, very comfortable for him. No traffic around. Straightforward pit stop phase. More importantly though, Gregor Hutu now in front of him is no one really. He's got a clear track. This time around, I think it's much more clean for Gregor Hutu, Chuck. Keeping it together. And at the moment, a straightforward race for our 4-time world champion.
Yes, and just ahead of them, you may find Jeremy Bootaloop, who's actually in P4 right now. So Gregor, even after 2 pit stops there, he hit his 2nd pit stop, and he still has a large group of this field, the potential to go a lap down. Of course, we'll have to wait and see how all the pit stops turn out. Boudaloop goes to P3 now, and just a few car lengths behind him is our leader. So, you know, I'm not sure exactly how many cars are going to be a lap down here. It's got a potential to be most of them.
Yeah, at the moment. Lots of drivers in the pit lane. Friscop's out in the way. Isaac Price as well. Jake Sterios into the pit lane. Friscop's out in the way. 7.5 seconds for him. Juho Arby as well. He's in P12 behind Friscops, and behind him Piatella, really putting the pressure on. Whereas Jake Sterios comes out. Oh, Jake Sterios in a battle here. The number 5 car for P16. Very close coming out of the pit lane. He lost the position to Mogafilio, but he keeps ahead of Anton Higelin, so he's in a bit of a sandwich at the moment. Higelin really feisty with a lower fueled car, trying to make his way past Jake Sterios. I think Sterios will have the grip though. Higelin has the pace actually. Look at this, getting very, very close. So Olli Pakala now into the pit lane. Focus on that now, so Olli Pakala, relatively straightforward pit stop. Nice stuff from him. Now Higelin right onto the back of Jake Sterios here. And Anton Higelin in the number 15 Apex Racing UK car. Straightforward maneuver up the inside and past Jake Sterios. He's up into P16. Good stuff from Anton Higelin. And 16 laps remaining. Let's see if Higelin, I don't believe, he probably is definitely making a pit stop one more time, if I'm not mistaken. Having a look at his lap time last time around with that pass, it is a 22.0. So he lost a bit of time, obviously, making that pass. But you see, he's much lighter on fuel compared to the guys in front. He's making past the stick, impressing throughout the field here, Chuck. Anton Higelin, the French driver, showing his racecraft is certainly up to standards, finishing in the top 10 at Sebring.
Oh yeah, I was just watching him and working on Philho there. You know, that's a lot of newcomers come in, and sometimes they click right away. Other times it takes a while for them to really get the flow of these series. But yeah, Higelin, you know, he's working on a top 15 spot here. He's in a good crowd of drivers, many that have been here for quite a few seasons now, and he is definitely holding his own and running a very smooth race right now. He's working through Oak Tree here. See if he'll have a chance at Phil as they head down the stretch here. He's within about 4 or 5 car lengths. I don't know if he'll get much of a draft from that position, but he's not losing anything. He's not gaining a lot, but he's keeping himself in a perfect position to move up.
So Gregor Hutu taking the lead after the pit stop phase indeed. So Olli Pakala in second, but Benito in third, just behind Olli Pakala. So important there for Olli to get in front of the Team Redline driver of Enzo Benito. So good stuff from the drivers in the pit stop phase. Everyone pushing to the limit on their in and out laps now. So Benito out on the way. Hugo Luis there in fourth. Jeremy Boudaloop in fifth. He's lost, Martin Kroenke's lost the position, so Martin Kroenke down into sixth, and he needs to make his way back into the top 5. Important for his championship. Really the closest guy at the moment to Gregor Hutu, 34 points behind coming into this championship. Martin Kroenke has finished in the top 5 in every round this season. By round 7, if he doesn't, he's going to break that streak quite obviously. Now in 6th position, Tommaso Carla hasn't made a pit stop. He's currently in 7th, so he will he'll probably fall down the field most likely as drivers make their way past him. And currently at the moment, everybody else after their pit stops, it's all settled, quite calm. Now we're going to see the final pushes and final battles.
Gregor regained the lead position there on that lap. We have Berrezzini has made it into the pits now.
Fulvio Berrezzini, hopefully a quick pit stop, and that's Marti Piatella as well. So 10.4. Marti Piatella away quickly as well. So 7.4 for Marti Piatella. Then Morgar-Filio. He is out in the way as well. Quick pit stop for Morgar, actually. Nice job. So he's maybe using less fuel, or maybe his pit crews worked hard on that one. So he's in 19th. Plenty of time to make up though. Won't get many points there, NP19. We'll get some, not many, quite obviously. So we'll look at the top 10 after the pit stop phase is not 100% completed, but most drivers have come in. Gregor Hutu still leads, 10.8 seconds in front of Oli Pakala. Enzo Benito in 3rd position. Hugo Luis in 4th, up 2 positions from his starting position. Jeremy Bootloop into the top 5. Wonderful race from him so far. Martin Kroenke, after an early spin, drops down to 6th position. Still has a chance of getting and salvaging a top 5 result here this afternoon. Then we have Tommaso Carla in 7th. In fact, actually, Martin Kroenke's got past Jeremy Bootloop last lap around. So Kroenke into that top 5. Then we have Rocco Brown in 8th. Friskops 9th. Richard Avery 10th. Richard Avery, though, under pressure from Andre Bocher in 11th position. So good to see some battles here in the late stages of the race. But Martin Kroenke there, Chuck, on a charge, made that mistake, keeping his head cool. He's got the pace, he's got the confidence, and he gets past Jeremy Bootloop last time around. Good stuff. I believe it was actually having word that it was through the after the snake section. So
yep.
Good stuff from Martin Kroenke.
Yeah, I was watching that. He set up a great aggressive move, clean on both drivers. You know, at a place you usually don't see a pass. So he showed it early, and he was able to hold it perfectly. And before they got to the oak tree, he was running in 5th. And you know, he's obviously trying to make some time up after his slight issues, and doing a great job of it so far.
Good stuff from all the drivers. Lap 46 of 58 will be completed. 12 laps remaining in this one. Gregor Hutu, comfortable lead, and he's going to go and take another win to add to his win tally in the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. Currently has 47 wins. This will be 48 all time. He'll approach 50, obviously be the first driver to take 50. The closest next to him is a man named Hugo Luis, also currently racing. Goes to show how dominant he has, and I know we've been talking about him so much, but I mean he quite obviously deserves it. Just being the strong driver that he is. He spoke about, you know, being bored with qualifying, wanting getting over and done with, having a fun race, and he gets qualifying right, and this is what happens. He dominates races, he wins world championships, and today gets P1 in qualifying, gets it over and done with. Only 0.003 of a second between him and Kroenke, but that's what makes the difference, you know, getting in P1. He's currently lapping a car as well, so good stuff from Gregor Hutu here, Chuck, as he approaches maybe win number 48.
Yeah, that's just an amazing history with Gregor Hutu. And I'll tell you what, after coming up for starting lap 48 here, Enzo Benito is working heavily on Oli Pakala for P2. So we may have an actual battle for P2 coming up here in the very near future. They are both working the best laps they can. Pakala is working through heading into turn 3 now, 4, and Benito is keeping a perfect pace. He had a decent run on him out of Oak Tree that last lap, but just couldn't get it done before they got to the top of the roller coaster. Benito is keeping about the same place as he had on the last lap here. If he can close up a little bit, he may have a play on Pakala before they get back to the start-finish line. I'll keep an eye on him here and see how this position 2 battle may line up for us.
Those two drivers in P2 and P3, Pakala and Benito respectively, both World Championship Grand Prix Series winners, actually, plural, because Pakala has won 2 races last year, but Enzo Benito only won 1 so far. I love that pun, 1-1. And he is in 3rd position, trying to get a podium at the moment. So Enzo, he's missed 1 race in the early stages of this season. We know drivers do get a drop round as well. He's only 6/10 behind Oli Pakala here. The battle for the final podium positions. These two drivers get this wrong. It allows Hugo Luis and Kroenke up there, but hopefully they don't. We know they're skilled enough and experienced enough to not make contact, but certainly in the closing stages of this race, Chuck, we're going to see them get as close as you can imagine, wheel-to-wheel racing. At this circuit, there's just no room for error. We spoke about there's no tarmac runoff areas. It's all grass. One of these drivers squeezes the other off as Benito pushes wide. They could certainly be under trouble with the stewards. Hopefully not, though, with 10 laps remaining.
Yeah, hopefully we would definitely rather see these guys have a nice clean battle to the finish. We've seen that happen before. We've seen that not happen before. So it just kind of comes down to, how aggressive the guys may be or may not be on defending an offense. So far, though, this has been a fantastically clean race. We've only had 2 or 3 retirees. All of the lap cars seem to be facilitating the passes the best they can. So hopefully it'll play out to where we can have a nice little battle here for this P2 and maybe other positions behind them. But I'm definitely keeping an eye on these guys as Pacala, wow, he stretched out a good bit of gap there on that straight stretch. And actually is holding his own down through the roller coaster and the hog pen and toward NASCAR in the front stretch. So, he's definitely not making it easy on Bonino to catch him.
These 2 teammates are really going to have their work cut out. And I'm sure they battle for fun with testing, during testing, and so far it'll be important for them to keep things together. Let's see if Benito does indeed. I don't think we'll see team orders into play, certainly not between the Team Redline, as they pretty much dominate the top 3 for the moment. This is why they are one of the best sim racing teams in the world. This is what they do. They dominate, Chuck. And it's good to see that they've got a strong field of drivers in not just the Road Series, other areas as well. It's not just these guys racing here today. There's so many people behind the scenes in the team as well that, they do little stuff. It doesn't have to be just with management. Can be with testing. Can be with, just motivating as well. There's so many aspects in sim racing for a team to be collectively working together and achieving success. And obviously having a driver such as Gregor helps that, but having other people in the team we spoke about also does contribute to success.
Oh, that's a fact. These top teams, especially at this level of competition, there are a lot of unsung heroes behind the scenes. Many, many laps ran, fine-tuning the balances, fine-tuning the strategies. It's amazing when it all comes to boil at race time, the perfection that some of these teams seem to carry. They can make little mistakes that doesn't impact their race that heavily. It's just amazing at times, especially with the Gregor Hutus and the Hugo Luizes and all of the other drivers that are the top in this series. It's amazing the stuff they pull off, and the group of people behind them. They work in relationships with a lot of people, and we've seen teams jumble up a bit. We've seen teams come together and have instant success. So there's a chemistry with a lot of these top teams that it can be a fickle balance, but when it's working well, everyone's in sync. You see the results of the Cronkies and the Louises and the Hutus. It's just amazing at times, the stuff they're able to pull off, and the group of people behind them. Great support systems are always good to have, and these guys make it pay off every time they race.
The world's best drivers and teams racing in the World Championship Grand Prix Series. If you want to see them again, in 2 weeks' time we'll be at Circuit Gilles Villeneuve in Montreal, Canada. Staying in North America for round 8, we head over to Britain, Silverstone for round 9, then a double Japanese round at Twin Ring, Motegi and Okayama for 10 and 11. Then a wonderful string of tracks after that. 4 amazing venues: Indianapolis, Spa, Suzuka and Nürburgring. Finally, we close out the championship at the Circuit of the Americas of round 16 for the 2015 season. Lots of good tracks. iRacing doing a great job getting Monza here as well for this season, and that was an incredible race. Lots of overtaking and battle strategy was important there as well. So good to see iRacing making this series as strong as it is every year. Keep up the hard work, guys, as we look back on the race and the gaps between drivers. Everybody in that top 10. Now, we spoke about that battle between P2 and P3, Chuck, but everybody else over a second or even over 2 seconds away from each other. At the moment, it's all about just finishing it strong. There's no pressure on many drivers here. Isaac Price in P10, good result for him. Bootloop's fallen behind Cronke. He can still stay positive for P6. More importantly, though, Cronke damage limitation he had to keep it together. We spoke about keeping composure. He had to keep it together after that spin. I think he's done that. 22 seconds off the lead. He lost lots of time. So for Kroenke, yes, he's lost points. But it's important now, not just for himself, but for his team to keep himself motivated, because at the moment, him and Hugo are the only two drivers who are currently challenging Hutu for that championship.
Yeah, and that's amazing in its own right. Gregor, for how many years now, has always been to the top. Actually, I'm watching a little battle here for P18 with Nakarinen being chased by Higlin in the car 15. Looking at that, you have sort of two different worlds here. You have the top teams, and they're running their strategies. They're running clean track. They're working traffic. You have a whole different world back here with the cars that are running like 19th and back. All kinds of little battles. Everybody's race is different. You have some guys that are, out there on a Sunday cruise just having a great time, looking at the majestic mountains around the VIR, all the pretty trees. And then you have guys back here like Higlin and Nakarinen back running for P18. They're running nose to tail, fighting for everything they can get. They're having a very different race than some of the other drivers are. And it's just an amazing time being able to zoom back and watch all of these different variables play out. While the chase for the lead, the chase for the championship, those are the big stories. There's all kinds of little wars going on from start to finish of this field for each race. And, sometimes they're the most entertaining part of the race. Like, this race for P18 right now, they've been doing just like they have for P2 and 3rd. And we do have a pass right now heading into the top of the roller coaster side by side. And Higlin pulls it out, so he's the P18. There's a little battle he won on that lap, among all the other battles in this fantastic race. And as we look back up toward the front, the battle for P2 and 3 is pretty much where it was. No one's really lost a lot. Actually, they're working through traffic right now, so that separated them a little bit more. That gave Pakala a little bit of breathing space. And as I say that, Benito closes right back up to where he was before, so they continue their battle.
He's taking a lot of risks here, Enzo Benito, lapping the car, and he's doing what really drivers who don't want to take risks don't do. Pulled in front of the lap car in the braking zone. I'm surprised the lap car didn't collect him. So Benito really wants this second position. Yes, he's on the podium, but it'd be even sweeter to get in front of his teammate Olli Pakala for the moment. So Olli on the back foot. Benito looks much more calm. He looks aggressive, but he looks more calm as well. So it looks like he's playing his aggressiveness right. He's going 100%, but he's not going 101. He's pushing to the limit, not over the limit. It's good stuff here from the Italian with 4 laps remaining. We'll look at the top 10 once again. Gregor Hutu, 11.5 seconds in front of Olli Pakala for P2. This battle we're watching at the moment. Enzo Benito in P3, almost losing the car there through South Bend. Good stuff to keep it together. On the back straight, I think he's still way too far behind. So Enzo Benito there in 3rd. Hugo Luis 6.5 seconds behind this battle in P4. Kroenke in 5th, the other Coanda car behind Hugo. Then we have Jeremy Bootloop in 6th. Rocco Barone 7th. Rounding out the top 10, it's Friskops, Butcher, and Isaac Price. Have a look at Mitchell de Jong's race and how he has fared after his spins. He could have been a driver there, Chuck, in that podium. This is what we talk about, consistency. The two Coanda drivers for the moment, we know they're much stronger than this. They're much better. Today, the luck just hasn't gone their way, and they've fallen down through the field.
This is one of those tracks and one of those races that every time, you'll see the first quarter of the race, everybody's got a vigor to them. Everybody's trying to make the moves and get what they can. But halfway through, a lot of the field are really just trying to get to the finish. They just want to keep it on the track. They've got what they got. They're happy with it. They want to get out of here. It's that kind of track for some people. Just like with the Bonini move a minute ago, you've got a battle for 2nd and 3rd. They're having to work through traffic. And while Bonino was being aggressive, I would like to point out that he also showed a great deal of respect for the battle that was going on that he was trying to get around. We had a battle for 24th there with Miguel Martin and Patrick Holzman. They held their lines, let the leaders work around them. Both of the second and third place car did it with respect. And now we have a great battle going on for P24th, as we have a great battle going on for second and third. So yeah, there's a lot of drivers here that once this track seems to always produce that. Halfway through the race, 3/4 through the race, there's guys that are just trying to get to the finish and can't wait to leave. And I'm sure there's half the field at least, or probably at this point in time, counting down laps saying, when are we going to be done? While you have the top 2, 3 there chasing each other for all they're worth. So this is always an entertaining race for me, and these guys are definitely actually one of the cleanest races I've seen here at VIR in quite a while, actually.
Yeah, no 17 cars going off at Oak Tree like 2013. Good stuff to see from all the drivers. More good stuff is Tommaso Carlo on the back of Mitchell de Jong. More importantly though, Benito ever so close to his teammate. Oh, he's got onto the grass as well on the entry to South Bend. This is pushing to the limit. 2 laps remaining, the second to last lap here. What can they do? The penultimate time that they enter this back straight. Benito into the slipstream of Olli Pakala here. Trying to really decide where is he going to go. I'm even worried about where he's going to go as well. So Enzo Benito still too far behind. Needs to keep it together here on the exit of Roller Coaster. Downhill on towards Hog Pen as well. The final corner. Final lap of the race as Gregor Hutu crosses the line. Can Benito get into the slipstream? This is the closest he's been all race to Olli Pakala here. He gets onto the grass as well. He really wants P2. He's just way too far behind. Oh, braking late. I think Benito's almost lost the car. He keeps it together. Oh, jeez. Italian car control to the max there. And Enzo now, he'll have to settle in for the final podium position. More importantly, though, he keeps that third position as Gregor Hutu on his final lap, Chuck. It's been a good race from the Finnish driver.
Oh, always. Obviously his strategy played out perfectly. He was out of the lead there for a little bit through the pit stop exchange. And, of course, when the pit stop's over, guess who's leading? Gregor. That's no surprise most of the time. And, we have, who was that? I just saw someone go off there at Oak Tree. I believe it was a lap car. I'll check on that. He exited.
So Gregor Hutu now, final few corners as we have a look at that car that went off at Oak Tree. Hutu though...
Well, Justin Lindsay went off there.
Justin Lindsay off the track. For the moment though, Hutu will come across the line and take 4 wins out of 4 at the moment, or a 4-win streak for him indeed, and takes the win for round 7 here at Virginia International Raceway. Win number 48 on the all-time list, slowly creeping in to that half-century. Very, very dominant race for Gregor Hutu. Olli Pakala takes P2 away from Enzo Benito. So Benito, unfortunately, could not get past his teammate in the late stages, at least keeping the car together. And a good race from the Italian. Hugo Luis, our man from Racebot, in 4th position. Good race from him. The first non-Team Redline car in for Coanda Simsport. Behind him, his teammate Martin Kroenke. He could have had a better race. Where could he have finished had he not had that spin?
Contact.
Oh,
we have contact.
Big contact here. So that's
that was
Martin
Piatella and Berrezzini had contact at the top of the roller coaster. They're losing a couple positions each.
Oh, so I'm
Berrezzini's
looking at
coming
it again.
to the line.
Yeah, it seems that Piatella just carried way too much speed, and I think Berrezzini tried to... Oh, look at that. Piatella's
having all kind of trouble trying to get to the line. He's got some damage. He's making it slowly, but he lost it again trying to drive straight. So he's got some serious suspension damage there, but he is making it to the line. And he may come in at P23. So, yeah, very costly for Patella there. What, two turns away from the finish, folks.
Fighting for positions. That's what happens when you're over-aggressive, though. Fighting for pride for Marty Piatella. So he was 15th when that occurred, and he is now currently in 23rd across the line. But we look at the rest of the results for you. And Gregor Hutu takes another win. We spoke about it. His 4th win in a row. 4 out of 4 from his first win of the season. He's on 48 for the all-time win list. 12.1 seconds ahead of Ollie Pakula in second position. Enzo Benito in third. An all-team redline podium here at Virginia International Raceway. Good stuff from the team. Hugo Luis and Martin Kroenke for Coanda in fourth and fifth. We have Jeremy Bootloop in sixth. 10 seconds or 9 seconds behind him is Rocco Barone. Good race. Nice there. He was up there most of the time. Started 8th, finished 2nd. You have Robin Friskops, Andre Bocher and Isaac Price rounding out the top 10. The rest of the field, Mitchell Dion comes home in 11th after a few spins. Not where he wanted to finish. He could have really been up there for P2 had he not made those mistakes. Tommaso Carla for 12th. Another consistent result for the Movano Thrustmaster X team. Then we have Jake Sterios behind in 13th. Richard Avery comes home in 14th. Behind him, very close behind him, is Fulvio Barazzini. The Frenchman Anton Higeland in 16th, followed by Yunus Nukarinen in 17th. Paul Ulbrink, Morgar Filio, Yao Vaz, very close at the line between those drivers. Then 21st, 22nd, and finally last on the lead lap are Dion Vergis, Juho Arbi, and Marty Piatello. The rest of the drivers, look at drivers falling down the field. Patrick Holtzman once again getting an incident in the early laps of the race. Not a strong result for him. You know, he needs another good race to get up through the field. First car not on the lead lap. Ilka Hapala also down there. Marin Kolak, the pro driver, 1 lap behind, comes home in 29th. Drivers not finishing the race. Alexei Usiakala with that technical issue, as well as Rico Alatalo and Sebastian Job. Sebastian Job, starting 5th, really blew a chance to impress, and a great result here this afternoon, Chuck. The young gun had a chance to impress. He'll get more opportunities like that, and being a young driver, it's really important for the team, you know, to teach him, make him learn, make sure he doesn't put his head down, and produces strong qualifying performances like that in the future, so he gets other chances in the race near the top.
Oh, that's true. And once again, you know, any young driver coming into this series, and a newer driver, this is one of those tracks to where, you know, as you're coming, many of us, as you're coming up through your iRacing career, you get very familiar with this track. There are times when you almost think you're too familiar. And as I said about the curbs earlier, you know, with Sebastian there, just that little moment where you think everything is fine, and especially with these cars, the lap times they're running, the speed they're carrying, it just takes that little moment. And this is one of those tracks to where if you're new to the series, your best bet is to try to come in, keep it on the track, and if you keep it on the track, you're learning. Unfortunately, Sebastian and a few others, they learned you know, how simple this track can bite you, and they will find that pretty much every track that this series goes to has the same qualities. I even saw a couple of the newer drivers. They had issues in the pits. They overshot their pits. They came in and had to realign the car to the pits. It's all of those little nuances that you know, as time goes by, as you spend more laps in this series, you learn to adjust those things, perfect those things. You know, as you see with Gregor, as you see with, you know, like many of the drivers, any of the top drivers, you know, their pit stops are just so as precise as anything else they do on the track. And that definitely paid off for Gregor today. That paid off for everybody in the top 5 today, because all of the top 5 drivers, their pit stop entries, box, and exit were just spot on, dead perfect. You know, it's hard to combat things like that, especially when you have the little issues that some of these drivers have had, you know, from green flag to checkers today.
Certainly indeed. We will take a commercial break for the moment. We'll be back with some driver interviews afterwards, hopefully, and waiting for drivers to actually come, just getting their races debriefs underway as well. So we'll wrap up everything after the commercial break here. This is the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. Round 7 has just concluded. We'll be back shortly after these messages.
Series powered by iRacing.com has officially begun.
Truex in the outside, contact made. 56 slides it at a 4. Who's going to be at the stripe? Dead even, give it to Ryan Truex. Truex is your winner over Tandy.
Welcome back everybody to the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series here. Round 7 has just finished. Gregor Houtu taking another win to add to that wonderful and lengthy win tally for him. Ali Pakala in second position, both of them alongside us here for some post-race interviews as well. We'll start off with Gregor, and just as I can get Ollie in here, I do. So Greg and Ollie, two Team Redline drivers, dominating those podium positions with Enzo. We'll start with you, Gregor. Race win, 4 in a row at the moment. Number 48 all-time on the win list. I'm sure you're going to be pleased with a straightforward win like that today.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, qualifying has been better the last few races, so that helps a lot. And I wasn't really happy with my race pace today on the first stint. It would have been a close race with Martin, I think, without his mistake. So, but yeah, in the end, it wasn't too difficult. Although it's hard to do 58 laps at VIR without a mistake, so it's always a bit tough.
We look at your first stint out of nowhere. I think it was near the closing stages of the stint, and you do this all the time. You are half a second faster than anybody else in the whole field. I mean, is there any secret to that as a driver, or is it just you waking up and deciding that, hey, I actually want to win this race, and you're going to go for half a second faster than everybody else?
I don't know. Maybe I'm just going too slowly in the first part of the race, but no, I don't know. I think maybe it's the setup or something. The car seems to work better at the end of the run, and yeah, especially at the VIR, I tend to take the first few laps a bit easy, just to get into the rhythm, and to not make any silly mistakes. So, but yeah, maybe it's the setup or something. I'm not really sure.
Finally, you get qualifying right. Today, pole position by 0.003 of a second. Do you think that in future rounds you can still, if you do have a poor qualifying position, and you do, get into traffic like you did today after the end of your first pit stop, I mean, it's not impossible, and you showed that today as a driver. I mean, around tough circuits like this, nonetheless, you are in traffic. You can still make passing maneuvers stick, and maybe at Montreal next round you'll be maybe deciding whether you should 1 stop, 2 stops. I mean, does that ever come to cross your mind, getting into traffic after making early pit stops?
Yeah, today was actually a bit tough. After my first stop, I was in some traffic, so I maybe have to think about the strategy for the next race a little bit more. But yeah, Montreal should be. I don't know. It's not my best track really. My qualifying there has been. I don't think I've been in the top 5 the last 2 times. So that's the kind of the first thing I need to improve there. I won the race last time around, but that was a really lucky one. So, but yeah, definitely have to get into the top 5 in qualifying there.
Any final words from sponsors? Anything you want to mention to any friends out there as well?
Yeah, thanks to the team for the support and Fanatec as well for the hardware and everything. And let's see, I'd like to mention OKO as well. And I think that's about everything.
Good stuff. Gregor Hutu, the 4-time world champion, right there, winning the 4th race of his 2015 campaign here for the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. Alongside him in P2 at the end was Olli Pakala. He's also with us for the moment. Olli, almost losing that 2nd position to your teammate Enzo behind. How hard is it as a driver to keep composure when you have a driver as strong as Enzo right behind you, hounding you for 2nd position near the closing stages of the race?
It's pretty tough. I thought I was pretty secure after my 2nd pit stop, but then Enzo catched me, and then I figured out that okay, I need to push and take more risks to keep on the pace, and I managed pretty well before the back markers came, and Martin held me up quite a long time, so I lost a bit of time there, and then Enzo came into the draft, and it was so difficult, and it didn't help that Hugo was basically first stint. He was right behind me as well, so pretty much the whole race was quite getting away from the guys behind me, so it was quite tough.
We speak about as well your team dominating those top 3 positions. I mean, what goes on behind the scenes at Team Redline from all of you? We know you all have the talent and the driver talent, but I mean, there are drivers who might have the talent, but they're just maybe not consistent enough, don't have the right setups. I mean, there must be some hard work. Obviously, we're not going to get you to mention secrets, but you know, the procedures that you go through behind the scenes at the team to bring strong results home like you did today.
Yeah, I think we have now 4 a bit different drivers, different driving styles, and like Gregor mentioned, he doesn't like Montreal, and for me the track is like super awesome, so we can help each other out during the 2 weeks time between the races, and I think that's one element why we are quite strong, and obviously hard work. It's pretty much almost every day you need to practice to keep it up in the level like this, with a so high competition level here. So
we look at Montreal next round, probably actually is personally my favorite circuit as a driver. I hope you do like it as well. Any aspects of that track you like, or is there any aspects of it you dislike, you might find it difficult with setup with the car?
Well, pretty much I like the track. I like to use the curbs and all those chicanes. There are that kind of combos that I love, especially in the racing. And I remember, was it first WCS race when I raced with the pro license, I was 5th and pretty much the pace for victory, but I got stuck behind Gregor, so yeah. But I like the track. It's quick, difficult to overtake, and yeah, it's good.
Are you gonna maybe crash into the Wall of Champions and prove that you are a champion for the future? Maybe. No, I'm just messing with you. But good luck anyway for next round. Any final words in Finnish for your Finnish fans out there?
My objective to Montreal is, at least in the practice phase, I will hit the Wall of Championship,
yeah, good.
like 100 times, but hopefully not in the race. But anyway, thanks to teammates Gregor, Enzo, Alexi for the hard work, and Dom also. Thanks to Fanatec from Hardware and OK as well. And greetings to my parents, brother and sister, and Levi and Alexi and Stenu, and all the relatives who is watching. Thank you guys, and see ya.
Good stuff from Olli Pakala there. Second position today on a charge towards a higher and stronger championship result. Well, hopefully that is updated. I'm not sure for the moment, but nonetheless, next round will be at Montreal in 2 weeks' time. So join us there in 2 weeks in Montreal. Should be another entertaining race for the iRacing.com World Championship Grand Prix Series. This is Johnny Simon in the commentary booth. Thank you to Chuck Johnson alongside me, as well as Ian from PSR TV, in collaboration with RaceBot for this event of Round 7. Round 8, we just mentioned at Montreal. I am really looking forward to that, one of my all-time favourite circuits. For now, though, we will join you then. Have a good break, and see you soon.